When we show that learning, we end up doing a pretty good job, like being in position to draw charges, forcing an extra pass. But there's too many times, as one of the coaches said, and he said it right, we're out there just playing basketball, right, rather than thinking basketball. And there were too many times inside of the game that we did not do the job on the game plan, especially with DeVoe and taking away his left hand. And we fell asleep a little bit, a couple of times on cuts. They fell asleep on us a couple of times on cuts, but they just scored too many points at the rim. And again, we had numerous chances. We overcame deficits, came back, but we missed free throws tonight at crucial times. And it's one thing to shoot 12 or 24 in a game. It's another thing to shoot it at the times of the game that we did. So we've got a lot of learning to do. They want to learn. There's a lot of fundamental learning that's got to continue to go when it comes to switching, when it comes to what we're trying to take away from somebody, and then just having the wherewithal and the stick-to-itiveness, which really is a locked-in focus that we've just got to get better at. But we've just got to get that understood. It's not complicated. Okay, what's complicated is when you're not locked into what we need to do. We're not at a place yet where we have a lot of different schemes and coverages. We're just not veteran group enough yet as a program to do that on this team. But when we did do things right, when we did defend right, it worked out well for us. When we didn't, they got clean looks at the basket or tips if they missed. So we've got a short period of time to get better before we play on Monday and Tuesday.
Okay, we're going to get started with questions. First, we're going to go to Mike Griffith and then Mark Weiser.
Coach, you mentioned a lot of those issues. I mean, it's kind of unprecedented to throw 10 new guys together in one season. I mean, what are you learning about this process, I guess, and how close do you think you are?
Well, I don't know how close. I would say this, with 10 new guys, you'd be shocked at what some never were taught, maybe even the ones that were in college, and some basic things. And one of the biggest areas, we're not going to make the jump. There's almost times that we've got to go back to a summer camp teaching fundamentals on day one and station type of work, because it's just not ingrained yet. And we spend time at that, but it's just not ingrained yet. A lot of this stuff is certainly correctable. I mean, the free throw shooting, the shooting, things of that nature. What's got to happen for this team is they've got to come together and talk on the floor. And we've got to be able to execute basic switches with communication. We've got to be able to take away elements of a game plan, take away strengths. And especially the one thing we've really done is really short-circuited how much we give them preparation-wise, because especially for the other team, based on the fact that we have so many new guys. But the things that we do focus on, we've got to do a better job with. So I don't have an answer to how long it's going to take, but we do have a great group of guys that work extremely hard. And it's just a matter of building some togetherness and toughness that eventually turns into a resolve and some unity.
Tom, your defensive numbers before today looked, decent for the first three games. Was a lot of this just about what Georgia Tech does, or a matchup, and how much you think it's going to carry over against Virginia or Northwestern or Providence?
Well, I have no idea how it's going to carry over. I would hope that it wouldn't. I mean, that would be nothing that we'd want to carry over. We have defended better. We just didn't take away strengths of the opponent tonight, individual strengths as much as we should have.
Okay, next we're going to go to Chip Towers and then Lance McCurley.
Yeah, Tom, what was the chief problem with defending Devo? Obviously, he was at the top of your game plan.
Getting on the left hand, getting on his left hand consistently. And it's as simple as that. He can score with his right hand. He really doesn't dribble it real well with his right hand. And we just let him get to his strength. And we never made him uncomfortable for extended periods of time. And we didn't make Usher uncomfortable. And they're veterans, right? I mean, they're ACC champions. They've been through a lot. I mean, they're really good players. They've got a good team, really good team. But we just never made them uncomfortable enough. And we've got to get that corrected.
Hey, Coach, can you kind of talk about the play of Jabreeze tonight? I'm
really sorry, but I really try again if you will, because I really couldn't hear anything other than Jabri.
Can you just talk about his performance tonight, scoring 10 points and just kind of him shooting off the ball, confidence that he gained?
Yeah, we need that. We need Jabri to play well. I'm glad to see him shoot the ball. He made some good defensive plays, and we need him to be able to be a efficient contributor, and that's a very good start for him tonight.
Next, we're gonna go to Anthony Dasher and then Drew Beal.
Coach. Aaron Cook kind of took it on himself today, I guess, taking a lot of the blame, I guess, for what happened on the court, some of the missed opportunities and things like that. Do you like seeing that from him to kind of try to be a leader like he's trying to be right now?
Yeah, absolutely. And now I want to see the resolve of changing. Right? I mean, he's a tremendous leader. So I'm not privy before I come in here to see what was said by the players in the press conference, but it doesn't surprise me. But we have a lot of, there's things we do real well, but there's a lot of basic elements of basketball that we've got to get better at. And we just do. I mean, it's a daily process. We've got some guys that have been in Division I. Obviously, the roles that they have here, they didn't have at their other places. But at the same time, there's a lot of basic things of basketball that they don't quite understand yet, but they're really working hard to get it. So that becomes a factor. So it's never on just one person. It starts with me and it trickles down from there. But when we did guard the way that we were supposed to guard, we did a pretty good job. We drew charges. We put them into tough, different situations. But we've got to be locked in longer. There's just no doubt about that.
Hey, Coach. In spite of the result tonight, I think the guys did a pretty good job responding to the high stakes to an intense rivalry, especially considering their, the current stage of their development as a team. Like you mentioned, I thought the energy and effort were definitely there. Aside from that, what was your biggest takeaway from tonight's game?
I'll have to go watch the film, and as soon as I'm done with this, I will. But I think I've covered it. And I think when we made the game easy on offense and we cut and we didn't over penetrate, we did some really good things. There's no question we're going to see a couple calls or non-calls in the game that would have turned the tide in the sense of goaltending calls and things of that nature. That's going to be a part of the game. And unfortunately, some of those things happen at really crucial times. I think we'll see that. But there's nothing we can do about it now. But bottom line is we've got to get ourselves ready over the weekend to go play some really good basketball teams in New Jersey in a short period of time.
Okay, next we're gonna go to Jared Smith and then Cole Acock.
Hey, Coach, one point in the second half, I saw you throw your hands up to kind of get the crowd going and get everyone kind of riled in. And I noticed that gets some momentum going for the offense and kind of gets the guys more involved. How important do you think that was in an environment like tonight? To get
we had a great environment. Yeah, we have a great environment. I was really excited to see that kind of crowd here. And I'm just sorry we couldn't send them home with a win. But they had a lot to do with our energy. They were fantastic. And hopefully they go home and they see, this team works really hard. They just got a lot to learn. And I think Mike said it best. we got 10 new guys out there. And the returner that we had is not out there in the sense of PJ Horn. So, but we're learning, right? We're a way better team. Night and day different team than where we were when we went to Charlotte for an exhibition. It's 4 games in. There's a lot of learning to do. There's a lot of basketball to be played. But like I said earlier, too, we can't just play it. We got to think it. And part of thinking it is talking. And that's where we have got to make strides consistently, quickly, but consistently.
Thank you.
Yeah, Coach. Georgia Tech in particular, Aaron DeVoe had a very efficient game. They shot 60% from the field, 53% from three. Was it just a matter of them making shots, or was it something scheme-wise that would just freeing them up to make so many shots tonight?
Well, that's really been the topic of the whole conversation here, is that we didn't do a good job of taking away strengths. And in the case of DeVoe, taking away his left hand, in the case of Usher, being alert to his cutting. So those are game plan things, but those are also just basic basketball things. But when you have a guy that you want to, we never put enough. When we did put pressure on the ball in the entry pass to the high post, we had some good fortune. When we didn't, they were able to play relaxed. And you just can't let a good team not feel you consistently. And there were times they did. But at the end of the day, we make those free throws at crucial situations. I think we're talking a different story too. And we just missed free throws The 12 and 24 is not nearly as important as the time of the 12 and 24. And that set us back a little bit.
Okay, thanks, coach.
Thank you.